Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It is Binky here today and we're going to just have kind of a talky kind of video today, a little bit different. Yeah, before we get to our final list of the year, which is the top perfumes of the year. I still don't know if it's top 15, 20 or 10. I'm still working on that. I've kind of filmed a bunch of these today and I need to sit with it for a couple days. I hope to get that up by Christmas Eve to give us our 10 days of Christmas. I know not everybody celebrates Christmas. I do. You don't have to. That's okay. It could be the 10 days of December, 10 days of whatever you want it to be. But that's what I'm going to call it. And I hope there's no offense taken to that. But yeah. So this one's a little bit different. I know I have all my notes. So this is kind of talking about the different houses that I tried this year and kind of upcoming news a little bit. I have this ready. I know this fell on a previous video, so I'm curious if this is going to explode now. It didn't. It's the new peach flavor. Give it a whirl. I'm so parched. I've been talking all day. I know I don't like to do that too much because nobody wants to hear that. But since it's more talky video, it'll give me a break. And then I also made some winter frosty munch. But I won't do that. That's for my guests who come and for myself throughout the day. But it's just kind of fun. I have snacks and everything, but I won't chew on camera. So I tried a bunch of different houses. We'll be doing this again next year on a recap kind of video. I won't be talking about sniff a lot. I'm finding that the secret menu, there wasn't anything else released this year except for candles. I don't really talk about that as much, though I love candles. I can't burn them anymore, or I would talk about them on this channel. Because one of my kitties had an adverse reaction. Just know cats can't deal with fragrance as well. They can absorb it if you burn it too long, and it can get in their system and cause problems. And it caused a problem with one of mine. So now I had to quit. I love candles, but I had to completely go cold turkey and will not burn them anymore because she is way more important than candles. So there you go. And she's doing fine. So just that's why I won't be talking about that. I originally was going to add that to the channel, but I can't because I can't burn them any longer. But sniff. They've been putting out a lot of things like detergent, which I find is kind of fun. I would use their detergent for certain scents. I really would, because I think it would be cool to smell like that. But they're really expensive. But I haven't tried the main menu, so I haven't really spoken about that. Maybe eventually I will, but they're just bringing out a lot of products and not a lot in the secret menu that I really want to discuss because there's nothing really new. So that's why there hasn't been as much news. I do news. I've done it once, but it's hard because I'm only going to talk about the brands that I've already used, if that makes sense. So Sniff, interesting brand because it was one that it was introduced this year. I do feel like it's a very safe brand, even with the secret menu, which was supposed to be more challenging. I think Dead Dinosaur was the only one that was. I feel like it's a very safe brand, and I think that's okay. I think when people hear safe, you know, if you're a connoisseur of perfumes, you may want to poo-poo it, and I don't want to do that because there's a place for everything. And I think Sniff is wonderful for people who are getting into perfumes or just who like simple profiles with a little bit of fun. And there's nothing wrong with that. But they are more like Bath & Body Works in that they're not very strong. So just be wary of that. They're very light. They're more like a bath spray to me, but it's something like if your teenage daughter wanted to try something and you didn't want her to go out smelling like a 1980s dream with those bombastic scents, that maybe this would be safer, like Bath & Body Works, but a little bit more to make her smile. You know, it's that type thing. Or even if you have a young teenage boy and he wants to try something, you know, at that point, sometimes the gender roles get in the way. And, you know, some of them tend to lean maybe what some would say a little bit more feminine and foodie scents being that way. But I go pooey to that. No, let your son wear whatever. Let your daughter wear whatever. But, you know, I can see how some may view it a little bit more in the feminine realm. But always wear what you want. Everything's unisex. So there you go. I'm going to say it every video. Take a shot every time I say it. Don't do that, though. You shouldn't be drinking that heavy. But there you go. So, because I say it in every video, and if you watch many in one day, I don't want to be responsible. So there you go. But yes, so there is Sniff. Okay, so I can't go through the year without talking about Clue Perfumery. This one... This one was probably one of my favorite houses of the year. It's phenomenal. Now at this time they only have 5 fragrances that they released. And that's what I like about Clue, is that they're not just churning out scents just to churn them out and make a buck. They're really well thought out. And there's some prototypes that they've had that they released in small batches just because they decided that it probably wouldn't work for their main company. It's a little bit sad though, because like I really wanted one of them. I think something was called something mesh and I wanted it so badly. Didn't get it, and I think that makes some people sad when there's special edition stuff. I'm not a big fan of that, but I understand they also want to like get rid of it if they're not going to use it. Like mesh is what it was called, and maybe it's just me being a little bit bitter because I lost out. I'll admit it, but this honestly is probably one of my favorite perfume houses or fragrance houses. I just think the first 2 were really great. But I feel like they've really come into their own with the last 3 releases because they're artistic pieces that are wearable, but there's something a little bit different about it that just makes you go, whoa. I just love them. I love the vibe. They're a very artistic crew. If I, let me tell you, these are the type of people I would hang out with. I'm very artistic like that. And so these are my people. So I really appreciate what they're doing. And I really appreciate all the artistic components of the company. I just love that. Keep the arts going. With AI and things like that, it's sadly kind of destroying that, and auto-tune and all that. I'm not a fan of it. I'm a singer. Everybody has, will go flat every once in a while. That's part of the charm of singing. It's like, don't auto-tune. See a Broadway show, they don't auto-tune. That's part of the experience. So that's what I love about Clue, is that they're not doing that. They're keeping the arts alive. Keep the arts alive. There you go. But there is no news on Clue. So we'll go past that one a bit because there's no news. So the next brand that we're going to talk about is Aloria, actually. And this one was one of the brands that I tried mostly in summer. I was just intrigued by this one. It is a Korean American company. They have it started in New York in Soho, and then there's an LA shop, and now they have opened one actually in Korea. It looks like they opened up in Seoul. And so in the Itaewon area, which is extremely popular, it's kind of like the Soho of New York City a bit. It's that kind of feel. So there you go. And so we're going to talk about some of this just because they released 4 new fragrances. 4 new fragrances. And we'll talk about that a little bit. Okay, so the new collection is called the I almost said Renaissance Resonance. And this is 4 perfumes from around the world, drew inspiration from Korean culture and stories, each interpreting them through their own background, experience, and creative lens. The collection honors the beauty of culture exchange and the lasting impression that forms when one culture is thoughtfully seen through the eyes of another. Very interesting. So they have like the different fragrances here, and you can see them in the street. This looks like Soho. There you go, dancing around. Cool stuff. So there's 4 brand new fragrances, and at this time they'll cost you $160 for the smaller bottle, and I think $240 for the larger. So I haven't tried these yet. A little bit of a change with Aloria. They used to have the Discovery sets, and inside the Discovery sets you would get a card to get $30 off. They now no longer do that. They also used to have sales throughout the year. They now no longer do that. So you're not going to be able to get it on sale. You're not going to be able, you're not. So there you go. There's also no discount. So it has changed a bit. But the profiles are very interesting, actually. Like there's Silk Bouquet, which is Chehua. The key ingredients are watermelon blossom. And the description is luminous and graceful. It's a soft, woody floral. It has Korean watermelon, blossom, lemon, white magnolia as the top. The heart is iris, narcissus, tuberose, and the base is patchouli, vetiver, clary, sage. Very interesting, especially the patchouli, vetiver, and clary. And it's very interesting, actually. Don't quite know what to make of that. There's a lot going on there, but I'm very curious by that one. And then they have Oh, that's the same one. Then they have the Royal Resin, which is very interesting. Same black and gold bottle. And that is the Korean ingredients silk and birch, chimhyung for Royal Resin. And it's a modern tribute to Korea's olfactory tradition, capturing the essence of the chimhyung namu. Royal palaces, things like that. Top note is organic citron, Petalia, ginger, heart, raspberry, myrrh, citrus, lily of the valley, Korean silk, and base incense, santal, album, labdanum, Korean birch. So this is the more, this one's going to be kind of heady. Not heady, but like a richer type fragrance, I could tell, which is a very, looking at the royal palaces and things, and they have a very specific scent. I'm very curious by that one. That sounds really, really delicious, actually. So then, this one was kind of a confusion to me. It is Beifre, so it's a little bit of Korean and French, but they are saying from an outsider's view. And this is Alam, and the Korean ingredients, the pear and pear blossom, are the key ingredients. It's a radiant interpretation of the Korean pear, or bae. Okay, I didn't know that. Capturing the pure joy of picking a ripe fruit straight from the tree. So this is going to be radiant, floral, and fruity. And top is Korean pear, bergamot, ambret, heart, orange flower, nectar, Korean pear blossom, base, tonka bean, akagala wood. Whew, say that 10 times fast. And sandalwood. Now this one probably intrigues me the most. That pear, Korean pear, bergamot, ooh, the florals, the tonka, the sandalwood. This is right up my alley. So this one is the one that I'm most excited about. It just sounds divine. It just sounds so good. And I have a thing for Loria, even though I don't agree with what they did with the Discovery scent, and I feel in this environment where people are holding onto the purse strings a little bit more, but I also understand where they're coming from, because with tariffs and things, it's costing them more. So I understand both sides. You know what? I can see both. So there you go. And the last scent is Cloud Days, which is makgeolli. Now that's interesting that they would call it makgeolli, because that is actually an alcoholic beverage in Korea. I had it myself before climbing a mountain, Bukasan. It was dumb. We decided to get lunch first, and they gave us makgeolli, and I didn't drink as much. My friend got pretty hyped up on it. Do not climb a mountain buzzing. Do not do it. It was so stupid. I look back and I'm like, we were idiots. But we didn't know. We didn't want to insult them by not drinking it. It was just Korean hospitality. Fantastic. So there you go. But it's fragrance profile, milky, warm, gourmand. And Cloud Days is a soft, indulgent gourmand inspired by makgeolli, which is an alcoholic drink, the milky Korean rice wine. Right. Creamy, it captures gentle sweetness and just a familiar hint of tang, which it really does. So top, lemon, juniper, oh, I love juniper, amyris, heart, makgeolli, there it is, cognac, jasmine, and base rice, vanilla, balsam, dalgona. So this one is going to be interesting. Those are the two that I am most interested of the collection for sure, but I will try them all because there's always a surprise in there. So I will take one for the team, and I will pay the $40 for tiny samples. That's all I'm going to say. It's just a bit much. I can understand 8 even. That's pushing it. I think 6 is fair. The only issue is you can't get a Loria from anywhere else to get cheaper samples. I'm gonna look. You can't. You have to go directly through them. I think 10 is highway robbery. It really is, especially because you used to be able to get these things for free. Now I'm sounding like a grandparent. You know what I mean? But you could. You used to be able to get for free. It's kind of like, really? So there you go. There you go. I'm still excited, but it is what it is. So we don't want to make this video too long, but of course Zoologist is churning out new items, and they are reformulating 3, and that is chameleon, elephant, and koala. They just felt like they needed to reformulate. I'm not big into reformulations. I feel like it's kind of like stand by what you put out, but if they're not selling well or people are like, I can kind of see why they would do it, but it's interesting. I guess when you're an independent company, you do that a little bit more than you could if you're like a mainstream. Like Dior's not going to, well, they reformulate too, though. They do, but it doesn't tend to shift the whole scent. And I think sometimes with zoologists, it shifts that scent. But you can get away with that a little bit more. So there's there are three items that are going to be reformulated. Chameleon I'm okay with because I really don't care for that one. It just did not work for me. So from my understanding, it's going to be more Lang Lang and Jasmine. So it's really going to be more of that floral rather than the coconut. But I don't know. The full notes haven't been released yet that I saw. But this is what Victor had said, the owner of the company. Yes. So it hopefully it removes that mango. That mango created a cat box scent, a urine scent. So I'm hoping that's the case. Then they are with elephant. It's going to be changed a little bit to more of a skin scent from my understanding. I liked elephant. I thought elephant was quite charming, but apparently they wanted to change it a little bit. But it's going to be more sandalwood tea and suede. Okay. I love tea scents. I love sandalwood, so I'm really excited to try this one. And of course I will, and I will put it on the channel. And then it looks like koala is going to be more happy and cheery, and like a vapor rub, but happy and cheery. I really liked koala. I actually own a bottle. I don't usually like eucalyptus, but the way that they did it was quite lovely. I don't think koala needed to be changed, so I'm glad I got one of the old bottles before it disappeared, because once they sell out, they're done. So those are going to be released, from my understanding, throughout the year. Elephant and koala are supposed to be released between the first and second quarter of the year, so look for those. Chameleon will be later. Also, which I will be buying, Happy New Year to me, Alm is finally being released on the 1st of January of 2026. So if you've been dying to try it, it's one of my faves of the collection. Spoiler, I love Alm. I think it is the wearable artistic piece of the collection. Because sometimes artistic, like Portuguese Man of War, artistic, but for me, unwearable. Others, it is. Alm, depending how it plays on you, is completely wearable. A little bit strange maybe for people passing by you, but for me, I don't care. I just love it. I am going to buy it. I am going to get it on. Somebody borrowed my thing. He borrowed my travel, and he's like, I'll get it back to you. I'm not getting it back. I don't think I'm getting it back. So I need a full bottle, and I will own it, and I will wear it. It's not one I'll wear all the time, but oh, it's special. It truly is special, and probably one of the highlights of Zoologist, in my opinion. So then there are also going to be 3 new fragrances coming out. Yep, 3 new fragrances. And we'll go through the profiles, but it's lovebirds, raccoon, and toucan. Yes, very strange. I thought raccoon was a joke at first. Urban raccoon. I really thought it was a joke. Apparently it is not. So that's kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting. There is a video somewhere of somebody trying it. A couple people have tried them. From my understanding, raccoon, and I'll put some of the full notes up. It says created by AI. You know how I feel about AI. I did not create this. Somebody else did. I don't condone it. But there you go. I'm using it. So it was created, and the damage is done. But here are the notes. And what's interesting about raccoon, actually, which I think is, I don't know when that one's going to be released. Oh, I love raccoons. I know raccoons get a bad rap. I see them in the city even. I've had them when I lived back on the West Coast. I remember there was one that would terrorize us at night because we had an outdoor cat that we would feed. He's not ours. The cat was a feral stray male cat, and we felt sorry for him, so we named him Max. But he couldn't come in. He was very feral. He was born in the outside. He was going to stay there. And sweet boy, didn't know how to cat, like he would attack you if you got too close, but he eventually would roll around our legs like cat do to mark us. But then if he moved, he's like, ugh, and you don't want to, he's feral. But we would feed him, and so the raccoons would eat what he left. And one time there was this male raccoon with this female raccoon, and they would he would scratch his nails on our door where there was glass like this, and just keep scratching and staring at us all night long. It was the creepiest. But I love raccoons. They dunk their food in water so they can sense it and eat it. And they have human hands. They're just so cool. I know a lot of people don't like them. I'm a big fan of raccoons and pigeons. The cities need you. Pigeons are not rats that fly. They are so important and have done some wonderful things for humankind. So back off. I love them. So there you go. But for raccoon, and this one was interesting, and I watched the video. So from my understanding, it's a bunch of mishmash, which I'll put to the side, of various things in a garbage can. And so like the top notes that come through from what this person said was bubblegum and pineapple, bubblegum and pineapple and fruits. And then it ends up almost turning into a pizza scent. Okay, it's very wearable, he said, though. It's exceptionally wearable for trash because it's a bunch of different things that the raccoon will eat in the trash during the night. But I just found that one so funny. I'm just like, and of course I'm going to try it because it just sounds fantastic. First one that is going to be released, from my understanding, like I said, was Lovebirds. And this one is going to be from somebody who tried it. They got a free sample. It's very fruity, and then it goes to candied. So I'm curious if it's almost like hummingbird, which is floral, that goes to candied. So candied fruit, candied floral. And so, of course, Lovebirds, because, birds eat a lot of seeds, and fruit is going to be a very fruity, light, happy scent. So that should be interesting. I'm interested in that. That's very much a profile of mine. So I will definitely be trying that for sure. And then the other one that they were looking at was toucan. I mean, toucan's interesting. Again, I think it may be a little bit too close to Lovebirds. Looking at the notes and looking at it there on the main computer is papaya, orange, lime, coconut heart. So a lot of ylang ylang, geranium, clove bud, vanilla. So that one's going to be interesting. I'm not naming everything. So it's going to be fruity, tropical, but yet with a little bit of zing with those spices and a little bit of floral, which makes sense for the environment a little bit. So this one is interesting, but I'm wondering if it's very similar to Lovebirds. Again, it's that fruit, but that one's more candied from my understanding, and it'd probably be released probably around Valentine's Day. Lovebirds, it just seems like it makes sense. So I can see that. So it may be more of a romantic, sweet kind of fragrance due to that, because most people aren't going to be wearing T-Rex or sloth to Valentine's Day. But if you did, I would high five you because you're awesome. So yeah, so a lot of new releases and reformulations coming from zoologists. So if you're interested in that, you're going to go broke this year because that is a lot. 3 reformulations, 3 new fragrances, and then re-release of Alm. That's 7. So, if you're a collector, you're going to be going broke this year. I'm going to try the samples of the reformulated and check in with the other 3. Alm I'm definitely getting, but for $200 a pop, it's expensive. So yeah, a lot going on in the world of zoologist. Now, the more that I progress through scents and groupings of them, then I will have more news and hopefully do it more often so that it's not a big rambly video much like this. So there you go. Because, this is a lot of information, but I kind of wanted to talk about the different brands that I used this year. And I feel like Zoologist was a fun one to start with because it kind of has a cult following and a lot of people really love it, or a lot of people are just confused by it. And so it was really enjoyable to start with a big brand with a lot of fragrances, and one that was just so much fun and artistic and totally outside of my comfort zone. So that's why I started that way, and it was a lot of fun. So for 2026, I'll just say it here, we are going to be starting out with the next group of perfume and the next perfumery, and this is going to be another large one. This one's going to take up the majority of the year. I will have like dupe versus the regular or the original. I'll have more of those this year, hopefully. And then I'll also be interjecting like zoologist or other fragrances throughout the year just to make it a little bit more interesting for those who are not interested in this next one. But the next series, which I kind of leaked earlier to people who had asked, because somebody had mentioned they would love to see it, and I'm like, I was planning on it. I've been planning on doing this one since February of last year and have collected all the fragrances. I have to make sure because there may be new releases. But it is Born to Stand Out from Korea. Interesting brand. I don't know if there's a lot of excitement behind this one, but I kind of don't care because I do this because I enjoy it, not because I'm looking for views. I just don't care. I do it because I enjoy it. So that's never an issue. So if you have something you want to suggest, please do. No brand is too small or too artistic. My channel is a little bit different. I'm not about the views. I'm not about making a living off of this. I have a job. So it's more I do it because I love it. And I really enjoy the people from this channel. Like there's some who've been there from the beginning who are just fantastic. And I just love how international and wonderful it is. So I actually prefer it being smaller because the larger you get, the more you have to deal with interesting people sometimes. They're just those trolls. There you go. So I love the close-knit happiness that it is now. Yeah, I have well under 100 subscribers at this point, and that's okay too. I'm fine with it actually. But so that's why I'm going to do this. Much like the Aloria one, I'm going to add a little bit something special at the end. I don't know if I'll be able to do this fully through the whole series, but I will be doing Born to Stand Out, which is a Korean brand in Korea. And with this one, I will be talking at the end about my favorite Korean dramas, or the ones that I really enjoyed, because I get this a lot. Love Korean culture, learning Korean, is that, well, what Korean dramas do you suggest? I'm glad you asked, because I'm going to put it in the video. So I will talk about the fragrance. We'll do the 1 hour, or the initial spray 1 hour, 5 hours, and then we'll talk about some of my favorite Korean dramas, or ones that I think everybody should watch, even if they're not necessarily my favorite, but we'll talk about that. So for those of you who love Korean dramas, you're gonna love this series. If you don't, you can skip the end, and that's okay. I don't care. Do what you need to do, get your info and run. I totally understand. So yeah, so that is where we are at. It's been a fun year. I didn't know if I could do this. I do have ADHD, which makes this difficult to focus sometimes, but I did it. I'm proud of myself. I stuck by it. Had to disappear here and there due to work and other things that came up, unfortunately. But so hopefully we'll keep this rolling. I really enjoy doing this. It's been a lot of fun. End up getting a lot of new fragrances that I never would have bought before because of this experience. And yeah, so there you go. I'm hoping for a great and easier 2026. 2025 was a bit challenging in parts, but you know, at least this guy's kind of quiet. I know you'll hear earlier videos where he's pounding around. Unfortunately, we have to take it to mediation. It's been a little bit of a challenging year, but I hope to stay on track more. So there you go. A little bit of rambling. But with that, have a fabulous day, my friends. And thank you for being here, even if you dropped in quickly or a long-time subscriber of a year. I know it's not really a long time, but either way, I value you. And thank you for the brief connection that we have. So with that, have a wonderful day, my friends. Bye.